Hi guys, in this lesson we'll see how to install php8. Let's just say that most of the course will already run on the 7.4 version, but some of the lessons will only work with the version 8. So I'm gonna show in every lesson if the features that I'm explaining are starting from version 8, so that if you have a previous version, you know. So 95% of the course is compatible with the 7.4 version from the 7 on, let's say. And then when there's going to be versions for the 7.4, 7.2, I have added them. And then here I'll do the same thing for version 8. So it's certainly all mostly compatible. So on Windows, we just go onto HTTPS Windows PHP net download, as you can see up here. Here there's the list of the versions, and you can choose here, since it's already 64-bit and most computers are 64-bit nowadays anyway, you can download the zip file. Here it's non-thread safe, it says. That's fine it's fine without the thread because we're going to use PHP on its own. So you can download one or the other. VS16 for 64-bit thread safe or non-thread safe. NTS or TS, it doesn't really matter. So you download the zip file. Once the file has been downloaded, you need to decompact the zip file in the Largon file. So you need to go into Largon, or where you have the Largon file, the bin file, and then PHP. And then in here, you put your new version. So it needs to stay like this. So for example, you can see that here I have different versions. So I can switch with Largon, whichever version of Largon I want to use, PHP I want to use. And then from the line of command, we need to see which version is active. So in this case, when you open the folder here, you can see that there's the whole content of PHP inside. There's all the extensions under ext. And then there's the file php.ini where you can do all the different configurations that we want. Able the different libraries. So once you've downloaded PHP, you put it under this folder. You need to do as with any version of PHP. So if you go here onto Largon, you do right click on the Largon icon, PHP, and version. You can switch between one version and another. So for example, I'm going to switch onto version 8. Here from menu, I can do it as well. I would always recommend launching Largon as administrator so that you don't have any problems, because Largon writes on the host files or does some modifications on the PHP and files, etc. So you just do right click and execute it as administrator. Once we're on the version 8, so you can see it here from PHP, which version is active. You can see the different modifications that we can do on the timeout, postmax size, etc. And then here in extensions, we can enable some extensions. So for example, we want to enable the curl extension. We click onto curl and we verify, again, right click to see in extensions if it has actually enabled it. So if it's not ticked, you click onto php8 or open it from the folder. Then you look for, with Control F, DILL, which are the extensions. And then here you just remove the semicolon in front of the extension that we want. So I generally decomment file info in order to be able to use it with Laravel, GD, to be able to process the images, MMB string to deal with the strings, exif to have information on the files, the JPEG files, MySQL-E, if I want to do some tutorials with MySQL-E, OpenSSL in order to be able to download packages with Composer, for example, PDO MySQL in order to be when we're using PDO, and SQLite 3 if we're using the database for the light. So these are the most important. When we're developing, we just need to verify that there's also display error on so that we can see the errors. And then here you can see that there's log errors on, and then somewhere else there should be log dir to be able to see the logs of PHP. We can open the file directly and see the errors. So let's look for log. Error log, you can see here the folder, generally in tmp php_errors.log. And then we can also look for error reporting and verify that there is e_all in order to be able to see all the errors when we're developing. Once that you have done these modifications, for security, you just need to stop here at Apache, or directly from the menu item, Apache reload. We do start all, or here where it says this link, reload, in order to take the new configurations of PHP. So if I open this terminal, and I would recommend using the one with Laragon when you're developing for PHP, and we launch php-v, you can see that I have the version 8.01. Let's see if I change to the version, for example, 7.4, and closing this terminal so that it gets the modifications, and then opening a new terminal and launching it again, php-v. You can see now, if you always use this terminal, certainly once you change the version of PHP, you need to close it and then reopen it. You'll always have the right version. Here with this terminal of Laragon, it always looks for the commands for Laragon in the bin folder first. That's why I recommend using this terminal. So if we go into the 8.01 version again and I launch it, you can see that it's still in the 7.4 version. Closing it and launching it again, and we can see php-v. You can see now that it's there. So you need to close the terminal and then open a new terminal in order to have PHP active. So every time that we launch a PHP file, if we want to launch the local server of PHP, we use this console, this terminal of Laragon, in order to not have to go into the environment variables and then change it manually. The other possibility to see if it is the 8 as a web server here and here as a standalone, you just go into the menu item, www, and from here you can open any website that you have. So for example, if you have this one, you can open it from the file system or directly from one of the websites that you have, or otherwise you just need to put localhost/ and we have Laragon, and here you can see that it says PHP version 7.412 because this is the one of the web server. So if we open here, instead it's taking the version of PHP from this address. So relaunching Laragon, so I needed to close and reopen Laragon. Now it gives the new version, 8.01. So if you switch, you need to do the stop of Laragon and then launch it. From the line of command, you just open the terminal, as we've seen. So now we have the 8.01 version. We're ready to execute whatever code of PHP8 and have the new features of PHP8. Okay, see you soon. Bye.